What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness.
So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel.
So let's start this video with this recent physique update from Quinton Beastwood. And this is him at about 7 weeks out, on his road to this upcoming Tampa Pro. And this is going to be his first show of the season, after more than 1 year. Because the last show that he did, that was Toronto Pro last year. And I have got to say the legs, they are looking very nice and very full. And the detail in them, that's pretty damn good for about 7 weeks out. And that is still plenty of time to get all the things in order, get more ripped. But we all know the crucial factor here. That isn't going to be getting ripped, getting shredded. As we all know, Quinton has always been one of those guys who can bring some nasty kind of conditioning. So the crucial factor here, that is going to be keeping all that muscle, all that fullness and pop, while bringing out the detail. Because the thing is, now he's entering that phase of the prep, where last year when Matt Jensen was working with him, he lost all the track with him at this point, while these guys were in prep for the New York Pro last year. Now, he got shredded. He came in very ripped, but his coach Matt Jensen just had him doing too much in terms of the cardio and also low carbing for weeks on end. And we saw Quinton ended up looking kind of skinny, and he just lost too much size, too much volume on his legs, and his upper body also wasn't popping the way it was back in 2022. And that is why he placed outside of that top 5, despite having some of the best genetics in the entire bodybuilding at the moment. And again, I'm gonna say getting shredded, that simply isn't an issue with Quinton. We have seen him bringing some insane level of conditioning back in 2022 at Texas Pro and Tampa Pro. And that was easily the best look of his entire career. Now the way he showed up at Toronto Pro last year, after what happened at the New York Pro, he improved tremendously, although he wasn't as sharp. But even then, he got the attention of the judges, and they placed him runner-up at that show, against all the predictions, behind Akeem Williams. And for those of you guys who do not know, he ended up beating a guy like John Jewett, who went on to qualify for the Olympia, and he finished 11th at the Olympia last year. Now, if you have followed Quinton's career, then you know his biggest weakness, they are his back shots. And in his most recent physique update, that is the point where he still looks kind of behind. But he's gonna change plenty in another 7 weeks time. So Tampa Pro is supposed to have a great lineup, and Quinton is certainly one of the favorites to win that show and get his Olympia qualification finally for the very first time, especially if he shows up at his all-time best. Now, he has already got multiple runner-up placings up until this point, so time to step it up and get on that Olympia stage finally, since he has been competing on the pro stage since 2017. And I have got to say, that kind of physique, that belongs on the Olympia stage. Next up, we have the physique update from Blessing Audiu. So kind of uncertain at this point which show he's going to do next. But I am very certain that the terrible showing at this past Legion Sports, that did not break him one bit. Although he was coming back after almost 18 months, after putting so much time and energy in the off-season. But still, the man is working very hard to prove it to the entire bodybuilding world that he has got what it takes to be an open bodybuilder, and he belongs on that Miss Olympia stage. Now, one could not imagine how disappointing Blessing would have felt. I mean, he was making this comeback. After 2 years, he took such a long break. He came back, looking, I'm gonna say, even worse than how he looked back in 2022, when he was working with George Farrell, and he won the New York Pro and the Indy Pro. In fact, I have got to say nothing on his physique that was even remotely comparable to how he looked, especially at the Indy Pro, which has been the best physique of his career so far. And George Farrell did a wonderful job with him. So the conditioning, that was off. The obliques, they were looking way wider and way worse. And that just totally ruined the midsection. And most importantly, he was missing that pop, that 3D effect, especially in his upper half, that he had even in the past. Now, Blessing also mentioned one more thing that could be a big variable here. He said that he could not sleep properly throughout that entire prep for the Legion Sports. And yes, I know that could be one of the reasons of him not doing very well. But let's be very honest here. He looked around 4 weeks out on the stage, and what really is not understandable is why he just did not continue to diet for another 4 weeks. I mean, he already skipped the Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro, the shows which were originally on his plan, so he could have just skipped this one too. And maybe he could have done a show in the month of June, and then he probably would have done more than one show, and I am very sure he definitely would have improved with every passing show. Now his coach Stefan, he had kind of a different perspective, that the size and the density and the difference in his upper body in comparison to his lower half, that is just massive. And to resolve this kind of an issue, that just requires months, sometime years, and that is something that isn't gonna be fixed in just a matter of a few weeks. Now that being said, Blessing is staying very lean, so we're gonna find out what his future plans are very soon. The winner of this year's Toronto Pro in Classic Physique, Chen, he hasn't stopped with just one pro win this year. So he will be competing again on this upcoming weekend, but not at this upcoming Dubai Pro. He's gonna be doing China Pro, and the man is well on his way to get that 5th pro win of his career. Now it is so amazing to see how his quads, they look so much more impressive with all that fullness, with all that pop that he's showcasing right now in that post-show phase. Talk about having those classic lines. Chen has it all, and him working with Chris Aceto as his coach, that will certainly help him bring more polished and more refined physique. And Chris Cormier is also helping him in terms of posing and presentation. And we just saw him win Toronto Pro, and that was a very dominant victory. Now I am kind of curious to know the weight at which Branch competes in Classic Physique division, and does he have any room to grow to get bigger? Because if he has more room to grow to get bigger, and let's hope that he does, and if he can put all of that in the back shots, specifically in that back double biceps, he will be a totally different bodybuilder, and he will become so much more dangerous with a bigger and a better back, especially if his back that starts looking as good as his front. So his front and his side shots, they are already pretty impressive. Now I know this will most probably never happen, because the thing is, he has been a pro for so many years now, and the back is undoubtedly his stubborn body part. So that front relaxed and the front double biceps, that is very impressive. Probably one of the best out there. Everything just flows so well, and that is what you call the eye-catching physique. But I'm not sure this physique of Branch, that is gonna place anywhere, I'm gonna say in the top 10 at the Olympia level, because the top 10 in Classic, they are just way too close at this point. And the competition in there, that is so fierce, which just goes to show you how much Classic Physique has evolved since 2019, when Chen made his Classic Physique debut, and he placed top 5 at that show. I am glad to see that Dubai Pro Men's Open Bodybuilding, that is turning out to have one of the best lineups that we have seen in the Men's Open this year. So when the promoters, they're gonna put that much money on the line, it is going to attract some big names, and rightfully so. And guess what? Moh Foda, the Chicago Pro champion from last year, he has decided to enter this upcoming Dubai Pro. So that means Dubai Pro Men's Open lineup, that is going to have 5 Olympians in it. And just a while back, we were wondering why a guy like Moh Foda, who has such an amazing shape, superb size, and a guy who is capable of bringing great conditioning, why he was choosing to skip this year's Dubai Pro. And that was the case for most part of the year. But thankfully, he changed his mind. And for those of you guys who do not remember, Foda utilized the first few months after the Olympia last year, trying to fix his back, which was his biggest weakness last year. And that was because of a disc problem. So I am very sure that he's gonna be improved in all the aspects. And he's supposed to be very fresh in the first show of the season. Now we know he's a very fierce competitor, and I'm sure he will be looking to place at the very least in that top 3 at this upcoming Dubai Pro. Now interesting fact, Stefan is gonna have 3 of his guys competing at the same show: William Bonac, Nathan Liesha, and Moh Foda. So how do you guys think Foda is gonna do in such a superb lineup? So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.